Barb Gulley of Barb's Tea Service, and we are back for our podcast courtesy On TV Studios. And I'm here, as always, with studio engineer, co-host, and arm candy.
Here I am.
Chris Gulley.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
Yes, and we have somebody else here.
We do.
What's going on?
This is a special podcast. This is podcast 37.
Yep.
And we have a very special guest joining us.
Do we know her?
She looks familiar.
Okay.
And that is Cara Reynolds.
Yay.
I think.
Oh, sorry.
The audience was a little stunned.
All right.
Okay. So, welcome, Cara.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we're happy you are here.
Yeah.
So, Cara is joining us from Cincinnati. She just came in last night, and she came here for the podcast, for a quilt show.
Yes.
Well, and to see family.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
right?
Absolutely.
That's not necessarily in that order of priorities, but we're here. She's going to share some lovely tea memories.
Yes.
And she's going to talk about her embroidery business.
Yes.
Honeywood Embroidery.
Nice.
Thank you. Yes.
We're excited to hear all about that. So we always have sort of our wish list of topics to cover. And today we plan to cover Cara's favorite tea, her mug and teapot, or a teacup, too.
Yep.
We've got a stand-in for you today. And some shared afternoon tea memories.
Uh-huh.
We're going to talk about Honeywood Embroidery. We're loyal customers.
We are. I'm wearing the merch right now.
You are, arm candy.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do an etiquette quiz.
Uh-oh.
And we're going to pair of siblings
Yes. Pitted.
pitted against
Against
each
each other.
other. Imagine that.
All
The
right.
best competition.
Etiquette death match. All right. Love it.
And then if we have time, we're going to talk about the status of the titled in England.
Yes.
And perhaps, Lord Gulley, you will want to weigh in on that.
Maybe. I don't know.
But first, tea. Oh, that
All right.
refreshing sound. So today we're going to sample some Earl Grey.
Yep.
And when we asked Cara what kind of tea, what was her favorite tea, I sort of knew, but you have 3 different ones that are your favorite.
Yes. The orange spice,
Mm-hmm.
the Earl Grey,
Uh-huh.
and the double ginger.
The ginger, right?
Ginger comes up again.
It does. Special guests have this. We have a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
They all like the ginger tea.
Nice.
And some are related. So, and okay.
Maybe it's genetic. Who knows?
Could be. Well, and you know what? We're not we're sister-in-laws.
Yes.
But we do have that shared love of Earl Grey,
Yes.
among other things. And so today we're
Like
trying.
me.
Absolutely.
Shared love of me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Chris has always been my older, bigger brother. I'm so thankful for him.
Yes. I can understand that. Yes. And we love you.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
I'm so insecure. All right.
Okay, you know how this is gonna go already. Okay,
All
we started out in the studio this way. That's how it's gonna be.
Okay.
Okay. So this Earl Grey is a new one for us. I mentioned in our last podcast when I did a recap, we've done Earl Greys quite a lot. There's a lot of different twists and turns on
Right.
this. This one, and I'm gonna just show it here
Yep.
if that can.
Yep.
That's from Tea Pigs,
All right.
and it's called Earl Grey Strong.
Uh-oh.
And it has a subtitle of Grey with an Attitude.
Mm-hmm.
We can get behind that.
All right.
So I purchased this when we were in Brooklyn last October.
All right.
They have a hub. This company has a hub in New York, but it is packaged and blended in Germany.
Ah.
All right. So let's take a little sample.
All right. Oh, yeah. That's got a bit of a bite to it.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
It feels a little stronger on the Pico than on the Earl Grey, on the Bergamo.
Okay. Yes. I think you've
You've got good
sourced-
buds.
Yes. Yes. You got that nailed, because it actually, what makes it strong is the blend of black teas, because it's black teas with a little bit of bergamot, and it has Assam in it.
Ah.
And when we talked about
Yes.
Assam a few podcasts ago, it's frequently used for breakfast teas,
Okay.
which are really strong. So this gives it that added oomph.
Mm-hmm.
And
We like oomph.
we do like oomph. So
Right.
yes.
Okay.
I would say yes. This
It's good. I like it.
Okay, good. So, Cara, today the mug that you have is from Celestial,
Seasonings.
Yep.
Seasoning.
Got it. All right.
and that's a stand-in today because you have a special teacup, and we'll
We'll edit it in.
and we'll put it in a picture of it. But do you want to tell us a little bit about your favorite teacup and tea?
Yeah. So my favorite teacup is from a collection. At one time, I was collecting china and teacups that was made in occupied Japan. So it's a time in history
Right.
of that with the stamp you can identify when the teacups were made, and it's a little bit more off the beaten path from a lot of chinas from England.
Right.
A lot of collections are English
Right.
china. And I just found I really liked the delicacy of the cups. The china's very thin,
Mm-hmm.
and the painting on it is lovely. So I've always enjoyed finding those, and I have quite a collection of
Nice.
occupied Japan teacups and china.
Great.
And then the teapot.
The teapot is a family heirloom. It comes through my mother from her mother, so it's certainly an English teapot. And it's, again, lovely painting. It's very sturdy china.
Right.
It won't break unless you,
You think it's 100 years old?
at least.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's withstood the test of time.
Yep.
It looks lovely. It cleans well.
Yep.
And I don't think they make teapots like that anymore.
Yep.
It's just a favorite of mine.
That's great.
So, do you, from what you were saying about cleaning it, you still use it?
Oh,
then
yes,
today?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I still use it today and keeps its heat. It's lovely.
Great.
That's what I think is so good about these heirlooms, and is to use them,
Right.
to get them out, let them have some air, let people enjoy them.
Mhm.
You know, because being stuffed in a drawer,
Yep.
that's not good.
I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with that.
Yeah,
I hate when that happens to me. Anyway.
we don't talk about that too much, but okay. So I thought, well, it's probably a good time to do maybe a little bit more of a formal
Right.
introduction to our special guest.
Yes.
So, as mentioned, Chris is your older brother, so he's known you all his life.
That's right.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known you for 43 plus years.
It's been a minute.
So
And it's been wonderful.
it has.
Love having you as a sister.
Right.
Thank you.
Back at ya.
All right.
And yeah, so we've done a lot of things. We have a lot of shared interests.
Yes.
What we'll get to. But when you were living here in Detroit, you had a career in IT,
Mhm.
and that took you to Chicago.
Yep.
And then you lived there several years, and then you met
Married a Coloradan.
yes, and so you moved to Denver,
Mhm.
settled roots there, had children,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
was it 2017,
18.
2018? You came back to the Midwest,
Yes.
and you're in Cincinnati.
And it's almost like coming home. I really enjoyed living in Colorado. It's beautiful
Yeah,
country,
right.
beautiful vistas. But it never, I think when you're born and raised in the Midwest,
Mhm.
I suppose many people with the place they're born and raised.
Yeah.
But for me, when we came back, I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is home. I'm back
Yeah.
home.
Isn't that something?
It is.
Yeah.
And I will say, with all the places that you've lived, save for Cincinnati,
Mhm.
we have done a shared pastime in all those places.
Mhm.
You know what that is?
Visiting tea houses.
That's right. We share an afternoon teas.
Yep.
And one of our first, and this was probably one of my first fancy ones, was at the Drake Hotel
Mm-hmm.
in Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful place.
Yeah. And that's in, is that like on Miracle Mile?
Mile, mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We need to go back there.
We definitely do.
I think they're still serving tea there.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, just the whole setup in that court, it was, the service, the food was great. But then I had, oddly enough, or coincidentally,
Yeah.
I had a Facebook memory show up today. On this day in 2012, we had afternoon tea at the Dushanbe Tea House in Boulder.
Wow.
We were out there visiting. You were on a business trip.
Right.
And we went there, and I was working for that online newspaper, and I interviewed the manager, and we sat down, and I think it was then that I said, hey, how about in 13 years, you come and meet us up in Detroit in the studio, and we'll talk about it.
Wow.
What foreknowledge.
Yes, I know. Pretty crazy.
Big if true.
So when we were in Boulder, we also, with Chris, got to tour the Celestial
Seasonings
Yep.
factory plant.
Right.
It's quite a big deal. It's some little bit of ways out from Boulder in a open area,
Yep.
and has its roots there. The owners, they originally scoured the mountainsides for the herbs that they
It's
did
really
the original
a
blends.
very interesting
Yes.
story. I mean,
It is.
it's a very, very local, and they're worldwide now, aren't they?
Well, and now they do source worldwide.
Yeah.
So they're, but I've been through that. Given that it's quite interesting,
Right.
a lot of visitors who've come to us, that's where we go, and
Right.
we've enjoyed that. And
Yeah.
there is one special room.
Yes,
that you love, Chris.
it is. It's the mint room, and if you want to get a lifetime supply of experiencing mint, that's the place. Your sinuses will be cleared instantly.
Oh, it is pretty
It's very minty.
intense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
but they have to. But because it's such a strong
Flavor.
flavor, they have to keep it sequestered from everything else. It was kind of an interesting thing. It's climate controlled, negative. Was it like negative pressure? It gets exhausted outside, so that the tea that's around it doesn't get like mint. It's like, oh, I guess you really have to do that.
right. I remember our tour guide
Yeah.
mentioning that, if you are congested,
Right.
put some mint tea in your shower.
Right.
And it'll help.
Yeah.
But I don't think I tried it a couple times. I think you have to put quite a bit of it.
And fresh, maybe fresh.
Yeah. So before we switch gears, I just want to show some of my
There you go.
merch.
Yep.
And this was from, obviously, Celestial, but this was from the Dushanbe.
Oh, yeah.
Dushanbe. And that's a little teapot.
A little higher. There you go. Okay, good.
Talk about getting things out of the cabinet.
Yes.
So
And I could hear you when you found it. It's like, wow.
I know. It was really exciting. And another tea that we had was in Chicago, was at the American Girl store.
Yes.
And we did that with Rachel.
Yes.
And she brought her doll.
Yes, she did.
It was really
Yeah.
a fun.
That was a very sweet. It was a sweet time.
Yeah.
It was. And then, most recently, you joined us in Michigan. You came up in October. We did an afternoon tea with friends and family. It was a ladies' gathering of about a dozen ladies at the Pink House.
In
lovely.
New Baltimore?
New Baltimore.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes. So the tradition continues,
Yes.
no matter where you go.
There you go.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, when you come down we're going to go. I'll find out a good place in Cincinnati for us to go.
That sounds good.
Excellent.
I'll be expecting that. Okay. All right. So another thing that we're passionate about is Jane Austen. And we joke here on the podcast about our bingo card. This is a topic that comes up quite a bit. But we're going to be visiting you again in June. There's going to be a Jane Austen festival.
Not very far from me.
Not very far. So this is being sponsored and hosted by the Jane Austen Society of North America, JASNA,
Right.
the Louisville chapter. And Rachel and I used to go down every year in July, and this was pre-COVID. And then, they changed everything. And then they found a new location. And how lucky are we? It's
nearly in my backyard. It's less than a 10-minute drive.
Nice.
So we're going to experience much felicity shortly.
All right.
Really looking forward to that. And then another another shared passion that we have is quilting.
Yes.
Yes, and we went to classes together and made a variety of squares.
We did, and that's right. My first few squares were pretty good. They're straight, but as I continued, they got a little wobbly. So we took that when you lived in Michigan. This was that quilt shop in Berkeley.
I think so. Yes.
Yes.
I wonder if they're still there.
I don't think they are, and because that was a long time.
That
ago.
was somewhere in that early 43 years.
Yes. So you excelled. You really have the skill and the craftsmanship to make beautiful quilts. I finished one, almost finished it, and it just the more I kept going up, the more it was like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So you
meant to do that, right?
I kind of did, but you took it from me, and as a gift, you completed it and kind of put it back on
Square.
Yes, and so I really appreciated that. But you have been going great guns. You still quilt today.
I do. I was very interested in hand quilting and did that for quite some time. Piecing, hand quilting. It's very laborious. So I've moved back to the more industrial age quilting and sewing machine. And I recently have acquired a long arm. It's actually a mid arm. There's categories of the machine. And I have it set up. I'm ready to begin practicing on it. So that's my next step, is to machine quilt my own quilts.
Because you do the piecework and then you send it to somebody else.
Yes.
In the past, that's what you've done. Okay.
Okay.
So that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
And we're going to be going to, the fun,
Yes.
and it just doesn't end. We're going to a quilt show this afternoon.
We are.
And one of the folks there who's part of the quilt show is Rachel's grandmother-in-law.
Yes.
And we're going to see her. A shout out to Judy for letting us know about this. And so we're going to go and get some inspiration.
Yeah.
And
Now, this is a yearly thing. They do this every year?
they do it. The
Almost.
last one we went to was 2 years
years
ago.
ago.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's what they cycle up. For
Okay. All right.
About every 2 years.
But its purpose is to, it's kind of a place for like-minded quilters to kind of bring their stuff and show and tell and
exactly. Yes. And get inspired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of quilting
A
going
lot of quilting, yes. So, speaking of sewing,
Yes.
you have your own embroidery business.
Yes. It's Honeywood Embroidery. And I have been doing it commercially for about 5 years.
Okay.
I love it. It's very, very enjoyable work. I am a small business, and I really just am working part-time with it, but that allows me to enjoy the process rather than it turning into something, large.
And there's actually a bit of IT involved in it.
Yeah,
with the graphic design and all that stuff. Yeah.
So the connection, I also do digitizing, which is another portion of the machine embroidery, commercial embroidery, and a lot of I just do it for myself for my work, because it's actually an art in of itself to design. It's a CAD related art, and so to get the finished products to look crisp and clear, that's another part, is the software part.
Right.
And so yeah.
Yeah, and it seems that you have to be very aware of like materials.
Oh, yes.
And durability and how well they're going to take to the different applications.
Absolutely. There's so much. I think why I like it is related to my whole. I just enjoy the more textile art, and there is every fabric has a different stabilizer, a different density of the thread, of the size of the thread, the size of the needle.
Yeah.
And it's a whole package. There are parts that are easily done, and there's other parts that take finesse.
Yeah, right. And it's a lot of craftsmanship that has to go into it.
So What got you started in this? Was it something that you kind of did for just fun or for a gift, and then it just?
So I have been doing machine embroidery for quite some time. I had a small home machine, the sort of residential, just a small home machine that I did for fun. I had started that in Colorado, and I was just doing enjoyable projects. I was actually thinking there's my second son continually blew out his right knee. He just slid into everything, just for fun.
Yeah.
And so, you had a perfectly good pair of pants. I put Minecraft patches
That's right. I
on
remember
those
that.
knees, and he got a lot. He loved it.
It was a hit.
It was. So, it's things like that. I just did small things. And then when we moved to Cincinnati, everybody's busy. My husband's working. The two boys are in school. Everybody's busy. And I just thought this would be a good thing for me to do. And I moved into a commercial machine. So I have a 15 needle commercial machine. And it took a while to learn all the ins and outs of doing that kind of production.
Yeah.
And once I was comfortable, I started advertising locally. So through Facebook, through friends.
Right.
And slowly my business has built to a happy level.
Yeah. One of my personal favorite products was we like to play pinochle.
Yes.
So Barb and I were so when you are a pinochle fan, a player, there are certain phrases that get
Yes.
Repeated a lot, and so we just kind of pulled together, I don't know, a dozen of them. It wasn't that hard to do either,
Right.
amazingly enough.
Off the top
And
of
so
my-
so one of the amazing parts, we just gave Cara a list of these. Hey, can you put this on a hat? And boom, done. It was a big hit.
That was a fun project to do.
That was so we have a pinochle club and 12 members, and that was our Christmas present.
Right.
And so they kind of traded ones that they liked, and like, who dealt me this?
Yeah.
Well, I did an emoji on those.
You did.
Yeah.
Very clever. And that's what I think makes your business kind of great.
It's made to order, literally.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it's interactive, and you throw out ideas, and so that's very helpful. We've been loyal customers.
Yeah.
You mentioned that hat.
Right.
Also, my birthday twin, Pam.
Right.
You made us a couple of baseball caps that said "Frictionless Living," copyrighted.
Yeah.
That's for how we handle life in Florida.
Yeah.
And then a few other favorites. So you mentioned the arm candy, and then I want to show a couple other ones.
Right.
So you did a lot for Barb's tea service.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Yep. Good. Okay. Yep. You're in camera.
that's an early one because we were Barb's tea shop back then.
Right.
It's very pretty. And then we have this one, which is
A little higher. Yep.
and this is one of my favorites just because of all the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
So you stitched up, was it
30.
30 of these?
Mm-hmm.
And we used those for Rachel's bridal shower because her theme was sunflowers.
Mhm.
And you came up with this nice little design with the rings in the middle.
Yes.
And then we used them also for the wedding.
Mhm.
And we put those on some of the tables. And I still use them today. We featured them in our November podcast and blog as part of our tablescape. They're just beautiful.
Yeah. I love, as a, I often wonder how these things hold up.
Right.
And those look like brand new.
They do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so you were saying that one of the features about what's your niche?
So my niche is that I do custom embroidery for people who have their own garments and products. Most commercial embroiderers provide their own garments and items, and they do not want to work with your like you come with a special shirt
Right.
or a special something. They don't want to work with what you're bringing to them. They want to work with what they're providing, and so very few will take those orders. So that's my niche. I really only work with people bringing me their products, their ideas, and I do have some retail shops, so I am able to some sites that I can get materials from and sell, and I have a reseller's license, but that's very little of my work. And so I've done a variety where, I've just done everything. I've done briefcases, sports bags, scarves, pashmina shawls,
Yes.
clothing, hats. You had asked me earlier prior about something unusual, and it just occurred to me. Somebody brought me. She had twin girls, and it was the baby blankets from the hospital, and they had these cute little ducks on them, and she just wanted their names on them, and then she was going to put them in these shadow boxes. And so, talking about interacting with the customer, I said, what about adding their birth information to these? And she went, I never thought of that. And so it was very fun to kind of create a little shield around these two ducks with the name and the birth information, and she loved them. It was really good.
Great.
So your mission, you're making people happy.
Right.
I hope so.
Right.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
we should mention though, you're basically you have a Facebook page.
I have a Facebook page,
and that's pretty much it.
and that's it.
Right.
Nearly all of my work is word of mouth.
Okay, and so just so it's called
Honeywood Embroidery
Honeywood. So do a search on Honeywood Embroidery, and
on
it
Facebook.
will pop up, and has your contact information.
Yep.
All right.
Very good.
Well, great. Thank you. So a little bit more word of mouth.
Yes.
And thanks for sharing that business. And
Yep.
I thought we've got just a little bit of time left.
Yep, we got about 3.5 minutes.
Okay. So it's time to pit sibling against sibling.
All right, here we
little
go.
sibling
Okay.
encounter here.
Okay.
And as both you know,
Mhm.
there was a book
Yep.
that was written and illustrated
Mm-hmm.
by Barb Gulley.
Yes.
2 different Barb Gulley.
Amazing.
I authored it, and my mother-in-law did the wonderful illustration.
Yes.
So
Talented artist.
Yeah.
love this. But anyway, in this dining etiquette book, we devote a chapter. Speaking of napkins, we devote a chapter on napkin etiquette.
Oh boy.
It's not a big chapter, mind you, but it's still a chapter. So anyway, thought we'd do a quick quiz on that.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So question 1.
Mm-hmm.
When setting the table, where is the napkin located on the dining table? We have a place for the utensils, plates, and drinkware. Where does the napkin go?
Amazing.
Should I just answer?
You go ahead. Yeah.
Goes on the left-hand side of the plate.
Okay.
Generally, either under the fork or to the side of the fork, depending on the
Preference. Or
Preference.
option.
Okay.
How it fits your tablescape.
So no. Actually, I was thinking about. Okay, if I go to I don't. We do paper napkins at home. We're not. So the napkin placement is at the rack there. But no, I was thinking. Okay, but if you're at a
Paper
restaurant, that's just it's generally around your silverware.
Right.
But actually, no. By semi-serious question. But in a home situation, if you're hosting something, is there something that would drive you to do one over the other?
No, it's really
Okay.
the option how you like it visually, how
Okay.
it fits in. You could also place it on the center of your plate if you'd like. Okay.
All
Very
right.
good. I'm not sure you're going to get any kind of extra credit for
We're
napkins.
coming up on time.
All right. If you have a large napkin, you can fold it and place it on your lap. Which side does the fold face?
Go ahead.
Waist or table?
So I actually don't. I'm going to guess this one. It's waist.
All right.
Correct. All right.
We are down to 30 seconds now.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, then you're all winners, and we will have the information of connecting blog stories.
Right.
Honeywood Embroidery. We'll have information on that.
Yep.
Want to thank our special guest very much for coming in
Thank
today.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
And as always, please stay tuned.